The Roman Empire, a beacon of administrative and military prowess, for centuries began to crumble from within, its downfall as much a product of internal decay as external pressures. The first and perhaps most insidious of these self-inflicted wounds was political instability. The imperial throne, once a symbol of unwavering authority, turned into a revolving door for emperors, with over 20 emperors in just 75 years during the notorious 3rd century crisis. This period of relentless turmoil was marked by assassinations, expirations, and short-lived reigns, eroding the stability that had long been the bedrock of Roman rule. The empire, which had thrived under the steady hands of Augustus and Trajan, now faltered under the whims of fleeting rulers, many of whom were concerned with seizing power than governing effectively. In this video, we delve into the shadows of history, unearthing the overlooked elements that contributed to the collapse of the Roman Empire. Compounding this instability was the pervasive corruption and unwieldy bureaucracy that strangled the empire's ability to govern effectively. As the empire expanded, its administrative demands grew exponentially, leading to a bloated and inefficient bureaucratic machine. Corruption infiltrated the highest levels of government, with officials more often swayed by personal gain than the public good. This degradation of governance was not just limited to monetary greed. It extended to the manipulation of laws and judiciary, undermining the rule of law that had once been Rome's pride. The very institutions designed to keep the empire running smoothly were now cogs in a machine of self-interest and maladministration, leaving the needs of the empire's vast and diverse populace unmet. Amidst this political and administrative chaos, the Roman Empire was further weakened by a series of devastating civil wars. The absence of a clear succession process for emperors led to power struggles that often turned violent. These conflicts drained resources, diverted attention from external threats, and deepened internal divisions. The Battle of the Milvian Bridge, the war between Constantine and Maxentius, and the Year of the Four Emperors are stark reminders of how internal strife can consume an empire from within. The constant state of civil war created a power vacuum, leaving regions of the empire vulnerable and neglected. It was not just a matter of lost battles or territories. Each civil war chipped away at the unity and identity of Rome, leaving a once unified empire fragmented and fragile. In essence, the decline of Rome was as much about the loss of competent leadership and governance as it was about the loss of territories. The political instability, rampant corruption, and devastating civil wars were not just symptoms of the empire's decline. They were the catalysts that accelerated its fall into the annals of history. The decline of the Roman Empire was significantly accelerated by profound economic crisis, marked by instability, mismanagement, and disruption. One of the most insidious culprits behind this economic decay was rampant inflation. The empire's once robust economy floundered as the value of Roman currency plummeted, largely due to the government's practice of debasing their coins to fund an ever-increasing military budget and lavish public expenditures. This debasement, a desperate attempt to stretch the empire's dwindling resources, led to a loss of confidence in the currency and spiraling pieces, crippling the economy. Compounding this financial chaos was Rome's over-reliance on slave labor. As the empire expanded, it increasingly depended on slaves for agriculture, mining, and public works. This reliance not only stunted technological advancement, as there was little incentive to innovate with such a deep workforce, but also destabilized the economy. The heavy dependence on slaves led to a decline in free labor employment, exacerbating the wealth gap and creating a fragile economic structure prone to collapse under strain. Resource depletion further hastened Rome's economic decline. The empire's vast territories required immense resources to maintain, leading to the overexploitation of agricultural lands and mines. As the quality of soil deteriorated and mines were exhausted, the empire faced a scarcity of essential materials, including metals and food. This scarcity not only increased the cost of military upkeep and infrastructure maintenance, but also intensified the economic burden on already struggling populace. Trade disruptions played a critical role in Rome's economic downfall. The empire's trade networks were vast and complex, encompassing routes across the Mediterranean and into Asia and Africa. However, as the empire's power waned, these routes became increasingly vulnerable to external threat, including piracy and hostile nations. The loss of control over key trade routes, particularly in the eastern Mediterranean, disrupted the flow of goods, leading to shortages and further economic hardship. The loss of lucrative trade hubs in the East, coupled with internal conflicts, severed vital economic arteries, depriving Rome of much-needed revenue and goods. Rome's economic crisis were not merely a symptom of its decline, but a driving force. The combination of inflation, reliance on slave labor, resource depletion, and trade disruptions created a precarious economic situation that the empire could not withstand. These factors, often overshadowed by more dramatic events, played a crucial role in undermining the very foundations of Roman power, setting the stage for its eventual fall. The decline of Rome wasn't just a matter of external invasions or economic hardships. It was also a gradual erosion of the very values that had once cemented Roman society. The virtues of discipline, hard work, and loyalty to the state, which had been the bedrock of Roman culture during its ascent, began to wane. Rome's expanding wealth and power brought with it a shift towards opulence and luxury, undermining the Stoic ideals of earlier times. This cultural shift had profound implications for Roman society. It led to a weakening of civic responsibility and a decline in the efficiency and effectiveness of governance. As traditional values diminished, so did the sense of unity and purpose that had driven the empire's expansion and cohesion. One of the most destabilizing factors in the later period of the Roman Empire was the growing divide between the rich and the poor. This disparity was not merely economic, but also reflected the access to power, legal rights, and social status. The elite, often landowners, accumulated immense wealth and political influence, while the majority, including small farmers and urban poor, faced increased hardship. This divide was exacerbated by tax policies that disproportionately burdened the less affluent, and by a legal system that favored the wealthy. This widening gap led to social unrest, diminished the sense of shared Roman identity, and eroded the foundations of the social structure that underpinned the empire's early stability. The spread of Christianity within the Roman Empire marked a significant cultural and religious transformation. Initially perceived as a threat to Roman traditional religious practices and values, Christianity gradually gained acceptance, eventually becoming the state religion under Emperor Constantine. This religious shift had profound implications for Roman society and politics. The Christian emphasis on spiritual rather than worldly power challenged the traditional Roman religious institutions and rites that had played a crucial role in public and political life. Moreover, the growing influence of the Christian church began to rival that of the state, often leading to conflicts of authority and ideology. This transformation was not just a change in religious belief, but also a fundamental shift in identity and cultural fabric of the empire, impacting its political and social structures. The Roman Empire, renowned for its military might and architectural marvels, also faced significant environmental challenges. Climate change, a subtle yet powerful force, played a crucial role in the empire's decline. During Rome's ascendancy, a relatively warm and stable climate prevailed, supporting abundant agricultural output that fed the empire's vast population. However, as the climate shifted, becoming cooler and more erratic, agricultural yields began to suffer. These changes were gradual yet relentless, slowly undermining Rome's food security. As crop failures became more frequent, the empire, which once boasted surpluses, started grappling with food shortages. This decline in agricultural productivity not only strained the economy, but also heightened social unrest. As food scarcity often does, the empire's inability to adapt its extensive agricultural system to these changing conditions significantly contributed to its vulnerability. Health crisis, too, played a pivotal role in Rome's decline. The Antsine Plague, which struck in the 2nd century AD, was a particularly devastating pandemic, believed to be either smallpox or measles. This plague decimated the Roman population, including its legions, critically weakening the empire's military strength. The exact death toll remains a matter of debate among historians, but it's clear the pandemic had far-reaching impacts. It not only depleted Rome's military and labor forces, but also inflicted a heavy psychological blow to the populace, contributing to a sense of decline and hopelessness. The repeated outbreaks of disease throughout the empire's later years compounded these challenges, stretching the limits of Roman public health and medical knowledge. These environmental and health crises converged to accelerate the decline of urban centers in the Roman Empire. Rome's cities, once bustling hubs of culture and commerce, began to wane as agricultural crisis led to food shortages. Urban populations, heavily dependent on food imports, suffered greatly. The pandemics further exacerbated this decline, as people either died or fled the densely populated urban areas, seeking refuge in the countryside. This exodus undermined the economic and social structures of these cities. Public works deteriorated, trade networks fragmented, and cultural institutions languished. The decline of these urban centers symbolized the broader unraveling of the Roman Empire. They were no longer the vibrant hearts of Roman civilization, but rather poignant reminders of an empire struggling against the relentless tide of environmental and health challenges. The environmental and health challenges Rome faced, from climate variations affecting agriculture and devastating pandemics, underscore the vulnerability of even the most powerful societies to natural forces. These challenges, often overlooked the narrative of Rome's fall, are particularly resonant in our current era, where global societies face similar existential threats. In understanding the nuanced and multifaceted causes behind Rome's fall, we gain a more comprehensive view of history, one that goes beyond the simplicity of conquest and decline. It offers a cautionary tale of the consequences of internal discord, economic short-sightedness, and environmental disregard. As we reflect on the lessons of Rome, we are reminded that the greatness of a civilization is not just measured by its conquests and monuments, but also by how it navigates its internal challenges, adapts to changing times, and responds to the unpredictable forces of nature. The fall of Rome thus serves not only as a chapter in a history book, but as a guidepost for modern societies, urging us to heed the lessons of the past to forge a more stable and sustainable future. Just a reminder, if you made it to the end of this video, don't hesitate to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, thanks for watching.